I think I would have to say our first director of faith formation when I came here as pastor was Kathy Lennon, and she was in the first graduating class with LIMEX. And I think it helped her grow as a person in ministry, bringing a whole dimension of developing curriculum and working with the teachers in fashioning them. And I think the ability that the LIMEX people had to plug back and forth with each other and talk, even after they had graduated from the program, the connectiveness that they maintained with each other and the support that they found with each other. When Kathy left and moved out of the area, I was able to have Laura Mack join us, and Laura is also a graduate of LIMEX, and I think it really broadened her view of church, helped her look at her role as a minister within the church, and then helped her work with the teachers in our faith formation program, and gave her a much more open view of curriculum and ways of developing classroom techniques and different things that were, it really was a wonderful asset, I think, for Laura. And but LIMEX is a graduate course, and it's a college course, and it should really make the person feel that they are equal to the four-year college candidate or graduate, and certainly it helps them develop as a professional, and they can see their role as professional ministers within the church. That's something we desperately needed as we grew in the shortage of both religious and priests in the church. So often we didn't think about this 40 years ago. There were plenty of priests and sisters staffing the parishes, and so you didn't think about involving the laity. They came to church on Sunday and they went home. They didn't really, and if you were running a religious education program, yes, you had the volunteers, but you really didn't hold them to any criteria or any standard. And once you'd gone through LIMEX, I think you hold the staff to a standard and a criteria for being professional. We have volunteers, you don't have to pay them. Well, you do have to pay professionals, and the director of faith formation in the parish is a professional, so they should receive a salary. And fortunately, the diocese has put together a wonderful handbook that gives guidance to the pastors and priests of our diocese as to salary scales and other things. We recognize that the people have to be paid for the ministry that they do. They have to receive more than 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers for doing the wonderful work that they do. So for so many years we thought these people are just volunteers. Well, they're not. They prepare. They don't walk into that classroom cold. They're preparing before they go into the class. They're preparing before they work with their teachers and so many things. So they should receive a compensation or recompense for all that they do.
Absolutely.
And it's really not enough when you stop and think of the hours that the directors of faith formation put in the parish, that the stipend or the salary really is not commensurate often with all that they put into it. And our Catholic schools are wonderful, but we have to look at, we're educating many, many more students in religious education classes and faith formation classes than we are in our Catholic schools. So we should be putting some of our resources into our religious education programs within the parish, equally to our Catholic schools. But and I say that from spending many years teaching in a Catholic high school and being an administrator in high school too. We need to realize that the core of our education for the youngsters in our parish is found in our faith formation classes. And that's where we should be putting some of our resources into those programs, so that they are the best in forming the young people that are in the program. So I think New York State should be also looking at the fact that this is a master's program. Well, just the writing of all the papers required and all the reading that is required. I could see that the LIMEX would be much better than some of the master's programs that I'm fully aware of in our colleges. Well, I think the LIMEX graduate is a person who has learned to utilize talents and gifts that they probably may not have been aware of when they went into the program initially. And I think LIMEX has allowed them to see a spiritual side of their own life, and that's very, very important. And it really has created in them people who pray with a real fervent faith in God. And my experience with the LIMEX graduates is that they are truly people of deep faith and commitment, and they are committed to serving the church and ministering, not because of their recompense or their salary, but because they really see the value of education in religious classes, and they see the value of a layperson involving themselves in ministry within the church, because the church is composed primarily of laity. The priests and sisters have ministered in the past, but they've been a minority, and the majority of our church is the lay person. And if our laity finally realize their great leadership qualities they have through LIMEX, then they can assume different roles. I mean, I know, talking to some of my brothers, that they feel that, well, this program, why are they just giving a certificate? They should be getting something. They should be getting a degree or something. And I said, well, the certificate is equal to the degree, if not more. So. Certainly, a LIMEX graduate could assume the directorship of a parish, and the priests working with them in their role as the lay minister within the parish and running the parish. I think that LIMEX opens up the awareness of the individual to continuous study, so that you don't stop studying when you graduate from LIMEX. You continue to study, and you continue to see the value of reading and researching and doing all of the things that the LIMEX program encourages you to do beyond the 10 courses that you take in the LIMEX program. So that it opens the person to so many things. I think that everything is changing, and as it changes, the church has to change with it, and maybe LIMEX is one of the ways to bring the change to reality, that we are preparing for the future with programs like LIMEX. I think it's the personal invitation sometimes, because so often I think individuals think that they are, they're not holy enough, they're not bright enough. So they many reasons for not participating, right. But that none of them are valid. You should at least try. Mm-hmm. And you'll discover some things in yourself that you never knew were there. I feel that their tuition, everything should be paid. They're going to be working for the church. So there's so many things that LIMEX does for the individual that when they graduate, they have just begun.